How to fix groin pain or groin strain and return to your sports or activities. That is the topic today in Ask Giri, the Physio Show. I am Giri Srinivasan, registered physiotherapist in Edmonton, Alberta. Groin strains are very common injury in the sports world, especially in the soccer and ice hockey. Those are the sports which is quite data is there out there for groin injuries. So, a brief one-side anatomy. The groin has so many sensitive structures and muscles attachments over there. And you got the abdominals coming from the top and attaching to the pubic area. You got the hip adductors coming from the both inner thighs coming and attaching them. And you have the hip flexors coming from the ribs and all the hips coming in front of the groin area. And you have the inguinal ligament coming there, holding all the lot of things in place. And sometimes if there is a trauma to that area, you can develop sports hernia and other issues as well. So that's why the groin is a little bit of a complicated area. Also, you should know thorough anatomy and thorough knowledge about groin to treat groin injuries. You can appreciate this next slide with how much sensitive nerves are there around the groin. You have the iliohypogastric nerve coming from the side, supplies the side of the thigh area there, and also you have your ilioinguinal nerve come and supplies the middle of the thigh and also in your inner thigh and genital area. Then you also have your genitofemoral nerve, which is having a genital branch which also supplies your genitals obviously. Then also your femoral branch supplies the middle of the thigh in the front. So when there is any injuries to these nerves can cause pain and numbness and tingling and muscle weakness to these areas as you see in the picture. There are different types of groin pain based on where the origin of the pain is from, right? So there are a few things we're going to discuss today. One is from adductor related. That means the adductor muscles of the hip, when they are strained or the tendon is strained, you can get groin pain as well. The other one is your iliopsoas related, which is your hip flexor muscle. It's coming from the ribs and a little bit from the pelvis. It comes down into your groin, not in the groin, sorry, in the front of the hip. Sometimes if that is strained, that also can give you groin pain in that area. Then you have hip related groin pains. You can have a severe osteoarthritis and that can refer pain into the groin, or any femoroacetabular impingement, the cartilage impingement happens. We call it FAI. That also can give pain in the groin area. So hip related as well. Next one is a pubic related, which is your pubic bone related. You can have a bruising there, called osteitis pubis, or any kind of repetitive strain injuries in the pubic area. And for women especially, pubic symphysis issues after delivery or during delivery, the separation and injuries can happen there too. That can give you groin pain as well. The last one is inguinal related. So we got this inguinal ligament coming from here all the way down here. That ligament can be compromised, strained, rupture, sometimes can create a hole there, creating a hernia or sports hernia. So things can happen there too. So all these things can give you a groin pain. So we're gonna see a couple of tests here and kind of see what is affected, how it is affected. And our model here, Kaila, my lovely physiotherapy assistant, is helping me to show you guys a couple of tests just to quickly identify what's happening. So the first test is to see if there is any strain to the adductor muscles, the hip adductor muscles, which is here. And we're going to do a test called Fader test. Fader stands for flexion and adduction and internal rotation. So when you do this, if the patient experiences sharp pain in the groin area, you know the adductor muscles are kind of strained a little bit, that's why. And that's one of the tests. The second test is called the load test. Can you go on your side, Kaila? And we can bring this leg up here, okay? And then I'm checking her right leg right now. I'm going to ask Kaila to lift this leg up if she can, and I'm going to offer some gentle resistance. How's it feel? Good. And if she has strained the adductor muscle, she will have sharp pain in the groin area. This is called the load test. You can relax now. So you do these two tests to kind of identify if the pain is coming from the adductor muscle group or not. Sometimes when you have any stress fractures in the pubic area or in the femoral neck area, you can also get pain with this one. So to rule that out, we always do a hop test. Nice. And do the hops test on the right side, and also can you do it on the left side? Just to rule out, if any stress fractures are there. You can relax now. If the patient complains pain with that, you refer the patient back to the physician to get ultrasound or further test to rule out the stress fracture. Okay, these are the tests you want to do there. And other than this, we also check Kaila's all hip active range of motion, all the range of motion, the strength analysis, and we also do some gross movement analysis. We follow FMS in the clinic here, so a lot of functional movement screening type of screening for the movement analysis. Then if she is a runner, if she's playing football or something like that, I would do a running analysis. I will put her on the treadmill, observe her from the side, from the front to see how her hips are moving, spine is moving, arm swing and the pelvic movements, and also how the femur is moving as well. So those are the things we will do for the screening process. So if you have a groin pain or groin strain, whether you're a sports person or a weekend warrior or recreational gym guy or a sports person, you might experience difficulty in few activities like your running, cutting, kicking, and also squatting, because your adductor muscle groups also works in squatting technique as well. So that's very, very important. So the next thing is rehab goals. When you have a groin pain or a groin strain, what you want to focus on? What is your goal? Obviously, we work with the patient-centered goal. Whatever you want to achieve, you'll work with that. But the general goal is to heal the tissue, enhance the healing process, and progressively load the tissue so that it can work. And also load management to regain the strength and the flexibility in that area and return to sport or return to function. That's the main rehab goals. So what are the strategies we follow for the rehabilitation? Mainly 3 main strategies. Number 1 strategy is activity modification. We need to modify your activity, what you're doing right now, and therefore take care of the load management as well. Load management is the number 1 thing for any tendon injuries, especially when it comes to groin injury. You can't just run the same way throughout to heal the tissue. You have to reduce the load. Then you got to progressively strengthen and load the tissue. That's the second part. Third one, you're going to return to sport-specific drills and sport-specific activities and exercises we have to do. So these are the rehab strategies for groin pain. And in that, strengthening is a big role. So now we're going to focus on, I'm going to show you guys some strengthening exercises for some 4 major muscle groups attached in the groin area. Number 1 is obviously the hip adductor group. Number 2 is the hip flexors. Number 3, your abdominals. And also we're going to see a little bit of your hip related work as well. Let's go see, and Kaila is waiting for us. We're going to show you some exercises. We'll start with the hip adductor strengthening. As I told you, we're going to strengthen the hip adductor muscles, which are the muscles on your inner thigh, which attaches to the groin area. So number 1, we're going to do in the beginning stage when you have a lot of acute pain and we're not going to do a lot of loading. So we're going to do a lot of isometric exercises. Isometric exercises are just contracting the muscles without moving a joint. So we're going to put a ball or the pillow between your knees and keep your hands by the sides, Kevin, and give it a nice squeeze and make sure the squeeze coming. Can you feel your inner thigh? Yeah. I want to maintain the squeeze for about 8 to 10 seconds and make sure there's no pain in that, and then just relax that. So this is basically activating the muscle without moving any joint. So this we are doing in a short lever. We also can do this in a longer lever. It's a little bit harder for the patient. So you're going to straighten your legs for me, Kaila, and I'm going to put this ball between your ankles, okay? And I want you to squeeze that nicely and relax your legs down. Don't lift your leg. Yeah. If you lift your leg, you're going to contract your abdominals too much. So you want to keep it down, squeeze it nicely, hold for 8 to 10 seconds, and make sure you breathe nicely. Because a lot of people, when they hold, and they hold the breath too. So you make sure you breathe nicely. To make it easier, you can count loud, like 1001, 1002, like that. You can count loud as well. So about 8 to 10 seconds. And you can always do 2 to 3 sets of this, and each set about 6 to 8 reps. Okay, relax now. So once the patient is pain-free in this to isometric, we can start progressing to the other levels. Progressing from the isometrics, we can go into my favorite adductor exercises, Copenhagen exercises. There's a way to progress that as well. We're not doing the real Copenhagen adductor exercise, but we're going to go into that. So we're going to do a short Copenhagen exercise here by bending that and keeping that knee here so that it's a short lever. And now we are working actually the leg which is underneath her left leg adductors. Okay, so go to the plank position in there, keep your hands on the waist. Okay. Now I want you to just lift the leg towards the other leg. You see that leg working? So it's basically a short lever active exercise for adductors there. It's a short Copenhagen exercise. Now let's go a little bit more, longer lever. We'll put the calf on the stool there. Yeah, and then you do the same thing. Look at that. So you're working on the little bit longer lever there, a little bit more work to the adductors. Good. Now we're going to do Copenhagen plank exercise, right? You make sure your shoulder, hip and ankle are in the same line. We are not twisting or rotating. Okay, let's go up. There you go. And then there you go. So that's a hard one. You give it a try. Make sure there's no pain. Yeah, relax there. It's hard, isn't it? Yeah. So you can do that also like 6 to 8 reps, about 2 to 3 sets you can do on that one. So once you're mastered this, once it becomes pain-free or pain not more than 2 or 3 out of 10 and it goes away soon, Then we can go to the real Copenhagen exercises. So, hands on the waist again. Good. I want you nice breathing. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
Good. Let's go. Up. There you go. 1, 2. Awesome. That's good. That's good. I know it's hard. It's hard one. She's struggling in that. So, and you can definitely try this. This is a real Copenhagen adduction exercise. And there's a lot of research articles out there supporting this particular exercise for the groin pain rehab. And this exercise, if it is done in a pre-season for the ice hockey players or the soccer players, it reduces the injury by 37%. And it's a proven research actually. So if you are a sports person, please try to do these exercises in the off season and also during the season, at least 2 to 3 times a week. So we saw some exercises for hip adductor strengthening. We're going to talk about some hip flexor strengthening, your iliopsoas, and also your rectus femoris, your long muscle is also a hip flexor. For that, we're going to start again with isometrics first. So we're going to, for example, the right side, you can bring the knee up there and then resist your movement. That's it. The patient is going to resist by himself or herself and then hold it for about 10 seconds. Make sure there's not a lot of pain in there. And nice breathing also is very important. 6 to 8 reps, about a couple of sets is good enough. You can relax there. Next one, if this is not painful, we are going into a little bit of adding resistance to the muscle group. So now we are moving on to a little bit of a resistance to the hip flexor muscle groups. We can add a strap or you can try the pulley system, whatever you like. Now let's go for it. Come for reflection. Very good. Okay, nice. Nice breathing. Good. So adding resistance to the hip flexor muscle groups there. Again, as I told you, the big muscle groups coming from the lower ribs and then coming all the way to the front of the hip, and also another part is coming from here. The other progression for the hip flexor strengthening exercises is just lying on the edge of the bed or couch here and bring your knee up there against the gravity all the way up. And make sure you don't arch your back too much when you do that, and make sure you breathe nicely. If she can do that without any problem, we're going to add some resistance. Here, I'm going to see if Kaila can do 5-pound kettlebell. She can handle it in her foot. Oh yeah, there you go. How's that?
Good.
Not bad? Good, one more. Nice breathing. Good. There you go. Awesome. Here, she is using the upper body resistance here, and maintaining the resistance, she's going to move the legs now. Yeah, one at a time. There you go. So this is the upper body resistance dead bug exercise. All of these things you can do like 8 to 10 reps. You can do a couple of sets. Make sure your pain guides you. If it is any pain more than 3 out of 10, and stop it, consult your physiotherapist and for further advice. So for progressive strengthening, adductors are done, flexors are done, and abdominals are done. Now we are going to the hip abductors, which is the muscles on the sides here, your big hip stabilizers. Sometimes the hip stability is not good, you're going to hurt your groin as well. So we're going to start with some Terra loop exercise here, and we are doing a short lever one. So Kaila is lying on the side and lift it up, and don't come forward, not too high. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Nice and slow. So it's basically a hip abduction exercise. And if it is easy for you, you can move the band down to the ankle. It will be a little bit more harder for each do. Yeah, good. That's good right there. So that's your abduction loop exercise. So the next exercise for the abductors is that loop side walk there, or lateral walk we can call it. You can put the resistance band above the knee to start with. Can you walk sideways, Kayla? Yeah, take 5 steps to the side, and then you can take 5 steps to the other side. Maybe a little bit wider. Yeah, there you go. Good. You can start the band again on above the knee first, and then you can go to the ankle, and also you can put it on the foot as well, like the feet here also. That will give more resistance to you. Okay, and that's how you progress this lateral side walk with your band or a loop. The next one, we're going to work for the hip abductors or your planks. We're going to show the planks now. So we're going to show you a short and long side plank. This is a short side plank with the knees bent. You can lift your pelvis off and work there, and your hip abductors have to work to stabilize your pelvis here. And nice breathing, maybe 10 seconds hold, and you can come down. Okay, do about 6 to 8 reps on this, couple of sets. If you're good with this, then go for the long side plank where both your feet is on the ground and lifting the whole leg up. There you go. And without rotating too much, all in the straight plane. Come down nicely. Beautiful. So the last exercise for the hip abduction is a standing hip abduction resistance exercise. Okay, so standing, put a band or loop there, or even tie it to the machine if you want. You can go for the side. Good, make sure nice and stable. And then go out and hold it for about 5 to 6 seconds and then bring it in. You can increase the hold duration also as you get better, and also increase your reps also, and also increase the resistance of the band also. So that's the way you progress for this exercise. Barbell single leg RDL as well. So put light weights onto it on the both sides, and then you can work on the barbell single leg RDL as well. Beautiful. Thank you, Kayla. So these are some of the global exercises you can do once the individual groups are worked a little bit progressively. From here, you're going into the sport specific drills. We're going to work on running, kicking, and also cutting. So that will be the next training protocol for it. For return to sports after the groin pain, obviously you have to make sure you have proper running progression before going to the sport or soccer or whatever it is. For that, first you should be able to walk properly with no pain. There's a running progression. This is actually, this protocol is actually from Jack T. Hickey et al. And they have devised this running progression protocol for hamstring injury rehabilitation. But it's very highly also compatible with the groin pain as well. So we can use the same protocol for here also. So basically you jog first, you jog for about 20 meters, then increase your speed to 50% more, and then run, and then come back to the slow jogging again. So if you can do this with the pain less than 4 out of 10, about 3 reps, then it will be very good starting point. From there, you can go back. Next step will be jogging for about 30 meters, then increase the speed to 80%, then slow down and rest. Make sure you don't have pain more than 4 out of 10. If you can do that, then again, you go for a 40 meters jog, then go with your 100% speed of running. You can also do that in the treadmill also, how Kayla is doing there, or you can do it outside also on the field with your coach or with your trainer. So if you can do this kind of progression, you make sure you're loading the tendon progressively, and also you're taking pain into consideration. It's not no pain, no gain. We have to respect pain because there is a reason why there is pain. Next, we're going to see cutting progression. Cutting is very important for soccer games and ice hockey, things like that. So let's see. Kayla is going to help us to show the cutting progressions. Hey Kayla, are you ready? We're going to do some lateral shuffle. So Kayla is going to do some lateral shuffle. You can arrange the cones like this, indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. Come on Kayla, let's do some lateral shuffle. So you set it up almost like there's not much space here, but ideally you set it up about 20 meters kind of distance between each. Good. Come back here. Yeah. So this is your lateral shuffles. So once you can do this about 3 to 4 reps with pain less than 4 out of 10, then we can go for the zigzag shuffle. So we're going to take this off and take this off to make it a zigzag. Okay, let's go for zigzag. Yeah. Good, and come back here, zigzag juggle again, both directions, very good. So you should be able to do that, okay? Then once you can do that, we have to do a 90-degree cuts. You can put it on L shape, then you're gonna go straight there, straight, you're gonna go straight to the cone, yeah, and then cut to the, you can also run it, it's not a shuffle, it's a run, so you can come back again. So for the return to sport training, we talked about running progression, we talked about cutting progression. Now we got to talk about the kicking progression. I don't have a soccer ball with me here, but I do have this wonderful Spider-Man ball. So we're going to play with that, okay? We're going to start with the short catch and kicks. So short distance, outdoor, with your soccer ball, you're going to do short kicks, catch and kick. Catch and kick. Catch and kick. So start with the short kicks first. Once you can do this, then we're going to do a short distance kick. So you can go a little bit far. There's no catching here, but we are just kicking back and forth. With your dominant leg, you can also mix and match with different legs also if you want. So short kicks, you can play with that one. Once you handle this without any pain, then you can increase the distance to 10 to 15 meters kicks. Same thing. Then from there you can go to 50-meter kicks. Then you can go into a soccer-based drills, agility drills, and your other drills and passing drills, you can play with that. So that's how you progress your kicking. So we have seen individual muscle strengthening programs. We have seen some sports-specific training. Now, if you have to devise your full training program for a week, what I would do, right? I would do maybe Monday and Friday, I would do running and cutting progressions. Wednesday, I would do a kicking progression. Then Tuesday and Thursday, I would take up 2 muscle groups to work on. Maybe Tuesday, I would work on my hip adductors and flexors, and Thursday, I would focus on my abdominals and my hip abductors. So in that way, you can formulate the whole week training schedule for you for the groin pain rehabilitation. How is it so far, Kaila? Are you sore in your hips and that things?
A little bit.
Little bit sore. And I want to thank Kaila so much for coming early and helping me to be a model to kind of spread some knowledge to everybody else here. Thank you, Kaila. And if you guys like this episode, please share it with your friends and visit Ask Giri, the Physio Show website, physioshow.ca. I have tons of beautiful information there which you can use for your friends and family. Until next time, bye.